Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Welcome. Let's sit for about half an hour today again, and then I will talk just a little bit. And if you have questions, please ask questions after Zazen.
然后我们今天还是先做30分钟，30分钟以后大家再一起讨论啊。
Thank you very much for joining Zazen. Today also I want to say a few words and then we can have a discussion if you want, if you have questions. I was thinking about what I should talk about today in the next couple of weeks. And one idea, there's this book by Sawaki Kodo Roshi, which I translated into German about 20 years ago. And last year there came an English version out. In English it's called To You by Sawaki Roshi. So today I want to talk about some of the sayings of Sawaki Roshi, and then maybe next week I'm gonna pick up this book. That's one of my Japanese books, and it's not available in English, but there's a Taiwanese Chinese version. So that might make it easier to be translated into Chinese. And then maybe the week after that, well, in 2 weeks, there's not going to be this Zazen class, but then in 3 weeks, I'm going to skip back to the To You book by Sawaki Roshi. Sawaki Roshi is quite famous for saying things in a very direct, sometimes you say no bullshit way. So some people like that. Maybe some of you, if you don't know Sawaki already, might be a little bit surprised, but be prepared. In America, maybe you would put an adult advisory sticker on this book to sell it. But maybe Xuanzan, you want to translate before I start to read.
Yes 老师刚才说就是我们接下来几节课讨论什么问题，然后有一个是就是我最近看的这本书 To You Sawaki Roshi 老师的这本书，他可能从里面挑一些内容给大家讲，然后到时候我也可以把这个内容到时候发在咱们那个 group 里边，就是咱们那个群里边，然后相关内容。然后还有就是这本书也是，这本书是幕后老师写的，这是他之前给我的，是繁体的，就是在台湾之前出版的一本幕后老师的书。然后今天呢是讲这个内容，然后下一周可能他从这里面挑一些内容，到时候我也可以把相关内容给大家截下来，到时候发在群里边。然后 Sawaki Roshi 就是这个老师，就是这个他以前也是安泰寺的主持，然后是他特别的。就是一般的日本人说话很委婉哈，就是很婉转，但是他不是，他特别的犀利，然后说话特别直接。那个是一个很特别的一个日本人。
So I will start to read some of these phrases, starting with the first chapter. The first chapter is called To You Who Can't Stop Worrying About How Others See You.
然后老师想从第一章截一段内容给大家读一下。第一章是就是给你那些不能够很难停下来担心别人是怎么看你的这些人。这些话写给那些总是担心别人怎么来看你的这些人。
And the book starts like this. You can't even trade a single fart with the next guy. Each and every one of us has to live out his own life. How do you translate Chinese?
那个第一章第一句话，那个 Sawaki 中写的是你不能把你放的屁给另外一个人，所以你每一个人，我们中间的每一个人，其实你都是在过你自己的生活。对，这个意思。
Each of these is a small quote. So the next quote goes like this. The eyes don't say, sure, we're lower, but we see more. The eyebrows don't reply, sure, we don't see anything, but we are higher up. Living out the buddha-dharma means fulfilling your function completely without knowing that you're doing it. A mountain doesn't know it's tall. The sea doesn't know it's wide and deep. Each and everything in the universe is active without knowing it. The birds singing and the flowers' laughter appear naturally, completely independent from the person sitting in Zazen at the foot of the cliff. The bird doesn't sing in honor of the person in Zazen. The flower doesn't bloom to amaze the person with her beauty. In exactly the same way, the person doesn't sit in Zazen in order to get satori. Every single being simply realizes the self through the self for the self.
然后第二章呢，就是我简单的说一下就是眼睛不会说我们的位置低，但是我们可以看到，眉毛不会说，因为我们不能够看到，但是我们的位置很高，活在法 buddha-dharma 佛就是你要活在佛法的生活当中，其实含义就是你要完全忘记你在做什么。一座山不会知道它有多高，海不会知道它有多深有多宽广。每一个事物，每一个在这个宇宙上面存活的事物，他们的行为都不知道自己，就是它的活跃性，它的行为是不知道自己它正在做这个事情的。鸟儿在歌唱，花儿在欢笑，是以一种很鸟儿在歌唱，花儿在欢笑，是很自然的表现出来的，完全不是依靠于某个人，或者是完全不是完全独立的，也就是说不是依靠于哪一个正在打坐的一个冷静的一个人，鸟儿，没有歌唱这些在坐禅的人，然后花儿也没有，让这些在坐禅的人，就是也没有让他们感到很惊喜，没有让这些坐禅的人感到很惊喜，这些其实都是一样的，这些人，并不是。这些人坐禅打坐，并不是为了要达到 samadhi，就是日语我们叫禅定，中文翻译成禅定，就是其实就瑜伽最后那个三摩地那个境界。然后每一个生物都是简单的，只是意识到他自己，通过他自己来意识到自己，然后也是为了他自己。我回头把这个内容到时候发在群里边，原版的翻译可能也有点生硬，到时候发给大家。
It sounds as if Sawaki is saying a lot more in Chinese than he's saying in English. Let's continue with, there's two more short quotes and a longer one that I want to read. The two short quotes are, religion means living your own life, completely fresh and new, without being deceived by anyone. And then the next one, hey, what are you looking at? Don't you see it's about you?
宗教信仰，宗教信仰的意思就是你要生活在自己的生活，你要生活在自己的生活当中，完全的，心就是一个崭新的面貌，然后并不要受到其他人的影响，就是不要被别人所忽悠，不要受到其他人所影响。然后第二个他说的是，你在看什么？你没有看到。你没有看到你自己吗？就是你正在看什么？你难道没有看到你自己吗
？And the next one is a little bit longer. That should be the last one for today. The asshole doesn't need to be ashamed of being the asshole. The feet don't have any reason to go on strike just because they're only feet. The head isn't the most important of all, and the navel doesn't need to imagine he's the father of all things. It's strange, though, that people look at the prime minister as an especially important person. The nose can't replace the eyes, and the mouth can't replace the ears. Everything has its own identity, which is unsurpassable in the whole universe.
这个让我不好翻译啊，这个就是他第一句话就是肛门不用特别的觉得羞耻，因为它是肛门，然后他脚呢不用怎么说呢？你的脚没有任何的理由去罢工，因为它只是在最下面的脚，头不用觉得自己很重要，自己是最重要的。然后肚脐眼儿呢也不用想象，因为它离所有的东西都很远。这个是非常奇怪的，我们每一个人看到的这些都是很特别的，每一个人都是很特别的一个人。像鼻子不能够代替眼睛，嘴巴不能够代替耳朵一样。每一件事情，每一个事物都有它独特的存在，有它的意义，然后它都是宇宙当中独一无二的，基本上是这个意思。
In the chat function, I typed the 8 Chinese characters which came in the end. My English translation is everything has its own identity, which is unsurpassable in the whole universe. And those, according to legend, were the words that the Buddha spoke right after he was born. Probably that story was invented. But people say that right after he was born, he took 7 steps, and with one hand he pointed to the sky, and with the one hand he pointed downwards, and he said, well, in Japanese it's Tenjo Tenge Yuiga Dokson, which means in the heavens and on earth, there's nothing that surpasses me. I'm, well, the most, how do you say, most respectable existence above the heavens and on earth.
老师在那个我们就是那个留言这上面写了一句“天上天下唯我独尊”，他这句话就是刚才我们读的就老师刚才读的英文的最后一句的那个翻译。然后呢，其实这句话是从哪儿来的呢？老师说是在佛祖降生的时候，他生下来之后，一只手指向天，一只手指向地，然后说了一句话，就是“天上天下唯我独尊”。就是这个。
And Sawaki Roshi here says that's not only true for the Buddha, but actually for every single of us. Just as the eyes cannot replace the nose, and the nose cannot replace the mouth, or a rose cannot replace a daisy, a bird cannot replace a cat. Each of us has to live out their own identity that's unreplaceable.
然后 Sawaki Roshi 这个老师他说，其实这句话不只是指的是佛祖，就是天上天下唯我独尊。其实我们每一个人都应该是唯我独尊的，就像眼睛不能够代替耳朵一样，鸟儿不能够代替猫一样，每一个事物都要活出它自己的意义，谁也代替不了谁。
So it's a little bit like what I talked about, was it last week? Every day is a fine day. Usually we compare today with the other days, and some days are better and some days not so good. But Ummon said, well, every day is unique, and every day is actually the only day. And the same you can say about yourself. There's how many? 7 billion? 7 billion people living on this planet right now. They're all a little different. They're all unique. But there's one person on this planet that's really special. There's one and only one person that's really special. Do you know who that person is? Of course, it's me. Of course, it's me. But when I say that, of course, I want all of you to think the same. Like Xuan-san, she pointed to her nose. And of course, it's true. We're special in the same way as today is special. Of course, every day is somehow special. But only today is real. Only today I can talk with you. Only today I can sit. Only today I can eat. And it's really delicious. What I ate yesterday, I already digested. And what I want to eat tomorrow, it's only a thought in my head. Only today I can live. And only this person I can live. So I'm not special because I'm different from you, but I'm special because that's the person that I can live. And I will also die as this person. I can only live and die as this person. Of course, that's true for all of you. And unfortunately, often we don't really, how do you say, appreciate that. Just as we don't appreciate that today is really the only day we can live. And we always compare today to the other days. We also always compare ourselves to the others. Who is more intelligent, who has more money, who looks better, or with Zazen, who can do better Zazen, who has the best posture, who can sit for the longest time without moving. But it's really not about that. Only you can do Zazen, and you can only do it today.
然后今天我们分享的就是这个天上天下唯我独尊，和我们上一周老师说的那个日日是好日，其实是有相似的一个想法跟见解。就是每一天都是日日是好日，每一天都是好的一天。这一天是很特别的一天，因为你只生活在今天，然后就像你只能在今天享受这个食物，然后只能是你在今天享受食物。金佳老师说那个唯我独尊，就是我跟你不同，所以我没有什么很特别的。相同的，就是因为我要生活在我这个身体里面，而且我也要在我这个身体里面死去，所以我又是很特别的。我是全世界上边，就如果我问你全世界哪一个人最特别，你肯定回答当然是我自己，因为只有我生活在我的这个身体里面。就像刚才老师上周我们说的那个每一天都是好的一天是一样的，你只有今天吃的食物只能是今天享受，昨天吃的食物已经消化了，明天吃的食物呢只是一个想法，所以今天是特别的。然后还有什么对，然后还说什么了？对，然后就是其实这一周和上一周两个这个意思差不多啊，就是今天我们说的你是很特别的你，然后每一天是很特别的一天，基本上是这样。
Okay, so much for today from Sawaki and my explanation. But if you have questions or anything you would like to discuss, please don't hesitate to ask.
大家有问题可以提啊。今天老师可能就是分享的就是关于 Sawaki 周喜老师这几本书里面内容，有问题可以提。
Josh, please.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
Thanks for today. So my question is, I understand the point on I am me and I'm the only me, so I'm special. How do I tie that with I'm nothing special as well at the same time?
Yeah, like as Josh, as the person like right now, you're 1 out of 24. And as 1 out of 24, you're really not special. I mean, you're different from the rest, but that difference doesn't really matter so much, at least in my idea. We make a lot of fuss about our identity. I'm different than the rest. But that doesn't really count. That difference doesn't really count. What counts is that right now, well, the universe appears through this one person that you are. Of course, that's true for everyone else. But right now, actually, the universe here manifests in this one person that you are. In your case, Josh. So, as Josh, you're not special. But that the universe right now is manifesting as Josh, that's special. Just like today. Today is March 7th. There's really nothing special about March 7th. Not really much. It's not so different from 6th or 8th. But that today is real. That the universe is manifesting right now and not yesterday and not tomorrow. That makes today special. So in the same way, you could say that none of us is really important. If we had died last year, probably the world would have forgotten about us. Forgotten about us. But the fact that the universe right now manifests in this one person, that's really special. So you can say that without you being here, the universe wouldn't be here. But at the same time, you can also say what you just said, you don't really count at all. Actually, the world wouldn't even notice if you wouldn't be here today.
我简单的翻译一下，就刚才这个朋友他说，那个老师你说我很特别，我能理解，但是为什么我又不是特别的呢？我又跟大家我又不特别，怎么理解呢？然后老师说，因为这个世界上有很多的人，然后呢，你跟大家一样，就是你也是其中的一个，但是特别是因为这个世界是通过你展现在你的面前的，所以你很特别。就像我们今天说那个日子一样，今天是3月7号，其实3月7号和3月6号还有3月8号没有什么不一样的，它也是普通的一天。但是因为只有3月7号现在的这一刻，我们生活的这一天是真的，你是真的在这一天，昨天已经是回忆了，这不是真的了，明天也不是真的，只有你活的今天是真的，所以它很特别。就像如果比如像你去年已经，比如你去年就已经过世了，然后呢，可能这个世界都不会留意到你已经过世，因为世界上有很多的人，所以你没什么特别。或者说你今天没有来上课，可能我们大家都不会注意到你没有什么特别，但是因为今天你来了，我们大家才注意到你又很特别。就老师刚才给的是大概其实这个答案。
Any other questions? Sebastian, please.
Yep. I have something not directly related to your topic today. Yeah. Last time I questioned what is Zen at all. Yeah. And today I would like to follow this up. What is Soto Zen? Yeah. I got your feedback last time and from the group suggestions. Yeah. And I understand it's easier said than done. That was the bottom line. Yeah. And I have the feeling from my experience that other than in Rinzai Zen or in guided meditation, there is not too much of a helping hand in Soto. And I think there are similar experiences everyone knows, like you can learn an instrument note by note, tune by tune, left hand, right hand, and very much guided. Yeah. And on the other hand, you can just go for it. Yeah. Just great musicians like Django Reinhardt also learned it without anything. Yeah. He just exposed himself to it, went for it. Yeah. And I use this metaphor just to ask for your advice is basically the latter thing which I described, just to expose oneself. Is that what I find in Soto Zen?
Yeah, I mean, in Rinzai Zen, you get a koan from the teacher. You have to present your answer of the koan regularly, and maybe after a while, your teacher will accept the answer and you get a new koan. While in Soto Zen, there's no koan, or you could say there's only one koan, which is just sitting. And there's really not much instruction. Like the first couple of times I gave a certain amount of instruction, but if you go to a monastery like Antaiji, there's not more. Maybe there's even less. I think when I first came to Antaiji 30 years ago, I got maybe 5 or 10 minutes of instruction what Zazen is all about. So it's being like thrown into the water and you have to learn how to swim. Of course, you're not on your own. There's the teacher, there's other people who also sit in the same space at the same time with you, but it's not that you can really help each other. There's an example, and the teacher also has, I think, the function of sometimes reminding you whenever you think you made some progress or you understood something. The teacher can always take that away from you. Whenever you think, oh, now I understand it, the teacher will remind you that actually you don't understand anything. So it can also be quite disappointing. It's like you have to learn an instrument by yourself, and whenever you think, now I can play, the teacher comes and tells you, no, you can't play at all. It's completely out of tune what you're playing. And then you would say, well, then teach me. And she says, no, find out by yourself. So in a way, yeah, it sounds easy just sitting, but it can be the most difficult thing in the world.
May I just a quick follow-up question ask you? In one of your books, you describe your first time in Antaiji, and after, I don't know, a certain time, your master was approaching you. Muho, where do you stick in your practice? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that told me, or at least I assumed, yeah, that your master was, I don't know, observing or at least assuming a certain development which you were not showing to some extent. At least that's my interpretation. Yeah, I don't know if you can recall that, or I had the feeling that your master was trying to guide you in a certain way.
I don't really recall what part of what book that could be.
Okay. In German, it was quoted like, "Wo steckst du fest, Muho?" Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what did I answer to that question?
You complained about the other monks who are not as passionate as you are, and you complained about, I think, circumstances and in the least the others. Yeah.
So yeah, probably that was what the question about. Like I was complaining about a lot of things, and I didn't realize that actually the root of the problem was me. And I think my teacher wanted to remind me of that. So where are you stuck? Where's your problem? And I said, well, here it's these older monks, and then this and this, and there's too much work, and not enough zazen, and whatever. And I think then my teacher said, well, you're like lacking Bodhi mind. You're lacking Bodhi mind.
Yeah, thank you. Makes sense.
我简单的翻译一下，刚才这个朋友他就是上一周他提了一个问题，就是问老师什么是禅，然后这周呢他想进一步提一个问题，就是我之前跟大家讲过，就是禅在日本也分两个派，一个是临济州，一个是曹洞派，对，曹洞派，还有一个临济派，然后曹洞派就是我们老师之前的那个，他是安泰寺的主持，然后安泰寺就是曹洞派的，然后像我们之前讲这些公案啊，就是那些故事啊什么的讨论，这个属于临济派。 他们主要就是通过公案的讨论，然后呢来学习禅，而曹洞的这个禅呢，他们不是，他们不怎么讨论公案。如果说有公案的话，可能就是一个，就是只是打坐，可能他们一直在讨论这个问题，就是一直打坐。然后你也可以说，就是你去学禅，然后但是老师可能什么也没有教。就是课特别少，可能有一些指导，但是呢，你是在坐禅当中学习，在坐禅当中悟，就好像游泳一样，把你直接扔到水里边，然后呢自己体会，然后你可能就像学一个乐器一样，自己鼓捣那个乐器，好不容易学会了，然后你跟老师说啊，我现在这个乐器会用了，我现在可以奏曲了，但是老师过来跟你纠正啊，不对，你这个弹的不对。就是它会又打破你，把你之前好像你自学的这些东西又不对，所以这个是曹洞宗。然后那个刚才他又提了一个问题，就是对，然后还有就是曹洞宗呢，也不是说什么都没有学，因为你在坐禅的时候有老师有同学，老师可能一直是打击你那个人，同学也对你帮不上忙，就是他也不能给你帮上什么忙，所以你们都是在坐禅当中慢慢领悟。我觉得跟咱们练瑜伽其实有点像哈，那个老师其实也就是总是一直打击大家这儿不对那儿不对，然后但是练习还得是自己练习哈，我觉得有点相似。然后第二个他又问了一个问题，就是他之前读了幕后老师一本书，讲他第一次来安泰寺的时候的经历，然后那个时候呢，他一直在抱怨，然后就觉得这个不好那个不好，然后饭也不好吃，同学也不好，老师也不好，睡得不好，然后什么都不好，然后也不怎么打坐，也是不怎么禅修。后来他老师就说，那个其实后来他知道，其实问题都出在他自己身上，不是这个不好那个不好，是这些本来就是禅修，这些全是你修禅坐禅的一个部分，问题全是出在自己身上，不是别人。然后基本上是这样啊。
曹洞 means Soto?
Yes.
What is 曹洞派?
曹洞修也是宗派means 修。
Shu,
The
Zhongpai is
same,
Shu.
the same kanji, but we pronounce different.
I see.
Oh,
Yes.
I was right. Okay.
Yes. Chris told me 派。
I didn't know I was right.
曹洞
I was
宗。
right.
I see. Interesting. Yeah. Sometimes I understand a word or two.
Yeah, because we have the same kanji, but we pronounce different.
Do you still have questions? In Europe, it's already past lunch break, but if you still have a question, don't hesitate.
有问题吗？大家？嘉文有问题吗？有问题。我觉得你好像要提问题。
Please.
但是我刚刚问的问题，我觉得好像已经得到那个解答。不过我还是想问一把，就是老师今天讲的，我基本上，大概能听懂，但是我也有自己的理解吧。就是老师说的，这个世界上每个事物都有它存在的意义，或者是每个人每个事物都是独特的。我的理解，这个是站在一个神的角度去看待这个世界。但是就是从我自己来说，就我作为我自己，然后我在看这个世界的时候，我有很多，就是我有喜欢的人，也有厌恶的人，我有就是包括我活在这个社会上，看待这些社会现象的时候，也有一些憎恨的东西。然后我有时候会因为自己有这些想法，会感觉到就是一点点羞愧吧。所以我想问问老师，就是我怎么样去看待这件事情。
Today you told everybody different, everybody special. That's like the view of God. You see people from the top, you see everybody. But for me, like when I see somebody like when I see the people around me, somebody I like, somebody I don't like something I'm complaining about, something I like to do. 然后还什么着？你讲的
就是我有时候会因为自己有这些想法而感觉到一点点羞愧，因为我有特别讨厌的人，然后我也有就是特别憎恨的社会的现象吧。就是我怎么去对待这件事情
？Sometimes she feel ashamed about how those feeling and thought about somebody I don't like, something I not favor me, but how how to say, how I see, how I treat those situations when I feel somebody I don't like and I feel shame about sometimes.
How do you deal with those situations? Yeah. Well, in a way, it's natural. We all behave like this. On the other hand, we also understand that, well, we shouldn't do that. So in a way, although we are human beings, we share a little bit of this perspective of God, and we understand, at least in theory, we should all be equal, and we should treat each other as equals. But we are not God, as you said in the beginning. We are not God, but we are human beings. And for human beings, that's difficult. So we realize I cannot do it. But then afterwards, we feel, well, remorse. We feel sorry for certain things that we said or did. But that might help us to do better the next day.
你听懂了哈？刚才
那我听懂了，差不多。
差不多。刚才老师就是说，那个其实你特别自然，就是对别人有意见，或者有些事情你可能不喜欢，是一件很自然的事情，因为我们都是人。一开始那个嘉文就说了，我们不是以一个上帝的角度来看这个世界，我们是人的角度来看，肯定就是有自己的喜欢和不喜欢。然后理论上是应该人人平等，理论上是应该不要区别对待，但是我们不是神，所以你只能是下一次的时候让自己做得更好一些，就是明天比今天更好一些，其实就可以了。
Any other questions?
大家还有问题吗？
If not, then next time I will talk about this book. There's no English version, unfortunately, but I'm gonna talk about chapter 8, Hogejake in Japanese, you say, letting go. It's a famous koan, Joshu. Joshu appears again in this koan. Joshu was the guy who put his straw sandals on the head after the cat was killed. Joshu tells one of his monks to let go. But I'm gonna talk about that next week on the 14th.
然后下一周呢，老师就是一会儿我把这个发咱群里边，他就是第8章放下这个字儿念住，放下住，就是接受自己本来的样子。下一周他就是还记得那次我们分享那个南拳斩猫那个故事，就是把那个鞋最后把鞋放在头上那个人，这是他的一个故事。我们下周讲这个。
Thank you all for joining. I hope you have a good week, and if you like, come again next week on the 14th. Thank you very much.
谢谢大家。Thanks for coming. Please donate Muho. Thank you.